Today marking 82 years since the attacks on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. The United States drawn into World War II, where more than 2,300 servicemen and women were killed.
And the pool of Pearl Harbor survivors has been rapidly shrinking, as you can imagine, all these years later. Joseph Eskenazi, who you see pictured here, is the father of our next guest. And Joseph was the oldest living Pearl Harbor survivor until he passed away just a few months ago. He was 105.
That is amazing. His daughter is joining us. Belinda Mastrangelo is here now with us. Belinda, thank you so much for coming on. It's such a special day, again, today marking 82 years since the attack. And then obviously your father, Joseph Eskenazi, as we see photos of him, lived a beautiful life here, considered a hero. I know you must have been so proud. Can you talk about your dad to our viewers and maybe share some stories if you can?
Well, my father was just a really special person. Like, he was he had such a high moral character. He never wanted to take any, even when there was free benefits from the veterans or whatever, he thought, give it to somebody else, like he just always felt, that wasn't for him. He was someone that I'm so grateful that he lived as long as he did, because I had him a long time, and it was always such a pleasure to be around him because he was had a very positive spirit, and he looked forward to every day. And living in Southern California, he, every day that the sun would come out, he was like, oh, what a glorious day, what a beautiful day. He had that attitude, and he was always very active. But at the end here in his life, he got so much attention. He never had that from the outside world. He always welcomed his friends and family, but having all this other attention and remembering the war, he got to, share with so many people. People would want to, other veterans, other families of veterans, and just the regular public wanted a picture of him, wanted
Yes.
Signature. They would send letters to us. I'd have them, okay, Dad, you got to sign one more card, and in the self-addressed stamped envelope, and send it back. And
yeah.
And he tried so hard to do that. So
You love to hear that. He really represents sort of a generation of Americans who were so willing to sacrifice everything for strangers who they don't know, fellow American citizens willing to answer the call. Belinda, did he talk to you about truly what the day that Pearl Harbor was attacked meant to him, and maybe how that changed something within him?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, whenever he talked about war, he didn't want to talk about it long before, but then he finally got used to the idea so late in life, after 100, I think. But before, he would always say, oh, war is awful, and because he experienced it firsthand. And but that day, he did lose one of his best buddies, which was Frank Lango. We even looked him up. He saw him on a newsreel, but he knew he almost was in the same place that Frank was, because they were talking about going into a different division to be gunners and to be eventually pilots. And he was thinking about it. He didn't jump in. So his friend went to, got in part of this new program. And my dad stayed with the Army Corps of Engineers. And unfortunately, Frank Lango was in near Hickam Field and passed away when a gunner shot him down.
Yeah, so many stories coming out of that. Again, the attack 82 years ago in Pearl Harbor, kicking the United States involved again in World War II. Your father, considered a part of the greatest generation, something we'll never see again, but living a long, beautiful life and passing that legacy on down to you. That is Belinda Mastrangelo joining us. Belinda, thank you for sharing his story today.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate all the attentions that were given to him, and all the we were able to go to the World War II Museum thanks
Amazing.
to the Gary Sinise Foundation and all that, and it was a really great experience. And with Amtrak sending us on the train and so forth, I miss him so much. But thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome.
attention.
We're
Thank,
honored to share his story. Thank you for joining us
thank you.
today.